Yo, we got cool gear down to legal woes. Let's dig in today's news. Yo! Yo, crypto nation and mining family, what is going on? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on? Jason the Tiger Osborne coming in hot and heavy with those FAs. So many FAs that YouTube thought you were spamming it. I had to approve that. That's awesome. What is going on, guys? Don't forget, as you're sliding up in here, smash that Lizardy like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Make sure to check the all. This way, anytime I'm dropping any videos, you get notified. YouTube doesn't like to turn it all on. We all know that. We all know this. So double check that. It doesn't always everything get turned on, so you can like right click it or whatever, and it allows you to select for every time I drop a video. You'll get notified. Yo. Sometimes people think that they're getting shadow banned, and actually sometimes that's the issue. Is they hit the bell notification and not realizing it doesn't always select for everything. So yeah, it's like I will spam every single FA I can find. That is out freaking standing, as Oz would say. Yo, what's up? So I hope everybody is doing great today. We got some cool stuff coming on out, guys. Outside of me, sitting here and doing some 3D prints. Yo, little sneak peek. That is PETG filament in there. If you don't know what PETG is, PEG is basically sports water bottles. The PETG is a printable variation of it. So you can basically, I wouldn't say it's microwavable safe, but certainly washable and sanitary. That's a good thing. So I'm like doing a calibration cube, trying to get the print to come out oh so perfectly. It looked like I had like a bad layer adhesion. So I'm just kind of going back in there, redoing that. I'm seeing if maybe I try to print a little on the cooler side, and sometimes it doesn't always work. So so as soon as I get that done, I wanted to actually print something up for the cats. I had already done this once, but it started like leaking. And I think it was just because I had some settings off. I've got settings a lot better on this now. And I've got a better hot end setup. It seemed like the old one was not happy at all. But it was just like a little multi-layer, a multi-level like cat water fountain thing. I've got a little motor for it. I was going to build it on here. It was going to be epic. And then through testing on it, I started noticing that it was like leaking. And that's not good. Yeah, definitely have to reprint that up. And I will get this. This will be my bane. I was able to print up a pretty hardcore print. Not everything worked on the print, and I think it's because my spool holder fell during the print. It might have shifted around. I could see one layer that shifted, and all it takes is one freaking layer to shift over, and bye. I'm half tempted on reprinting this thing back up. Half tempted. It's like, but I'd want to get some cheap filament. If I'm going to be testing out like this, I do not want expensive filament. And that's like half my problem, is I do not want to spend a lot on filament. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'll figure something out here. Yeah. So been definitely getting my print on, all that good stuff. So that there will be 3D print videos coming up here in the near future. I've got one that I've got to finish up editing, but I'm still not. I'm debating, since it didn't really print properly. Do I want to reprint this? And then if I do, I want to get some cheap filament to do this, which would postpone the release of that video if I do that, or I can just release it as is and then do another video when I get the other thing and going, hey, this is an actual working product. Now that I've got it's like I can I've dialed in the machine pretty damn good. But talking about some other things that are going to be coming out here soon. Boom. 4060 Ti has surfaced. It has a very short reference board. The PG190 still uses the CME5 connectors, so it uses their very difficult and hard to plug seat in fucking connector. If you guys end up getting a 4060 Ti, make sure for the love of God that thing is plugged in all the way. I don't care, like, wiggle that thing, try to wiggle it back out. It seems to not be a wire connection issue. It is literally a connector problem itself. Since I was able to dig into it and see that it's already in the data centers, and we don't see data centers on fire. So I will, it has to go back to, a user issue. Especially when the people who not only designed the connector but also tested the connector for all possible failures are going, it's a user problem. It's a user problem. It's that they're trying to use an industrial variation of a connector. People aren't used to connecting that hardcore of a connector. I mean, us miners, we used to like, did it click? Nope, I don't hear anything. Click, got it. We'll sit there and jam that fucker in until the connector falls off the PCB, basically. Or we're sitting here going, man, I need to support this. I don't feel like it clicked. And you're like, click, and you're like putting like a little hook underneath there so you can just like push right into it. Man, I swear to God, man, if that's what you need to do with these new connectors, man, it's like just kind of click it in there. And it's not so much unhooking it and plugging it back in. It's not even the old standard plugs have a cycling range of how many times they recommend you to unplug and plug it back in before they say you might want to consider replacing that due to it component was not designed to be unplugged that many times. And I do understand that too. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, so I mean, like if you're looking for a 4060 Ti, this might be a decent little one. You're getting the newer ray tracing on there. You're getting some of the you're not getting all of the upticks of the 40 series GPU. You're getting a cut down variation. I mean, we know that, but I'm saying like not all the options are going to be there for your upper end. Ray tracing in it, with the deep learning super sampling on there too. It's not going to hit as hard because it doesn't have as many the processors are cut down on this. With that being said, that it's not going to be able to push pure performance of what they sell, what a 40 series is going to be. Everything that they sold is on the combat of it being on the 4090, where everything is just maxed out, balls to the wall. That's your Titan class, right? So according to that, your Titan class is where all your value comes in because you get all the AI development that they've got in that card because it can push it. This one, you're not going to get it, but you will get some of the uptick with it. Now, if you're jumping going, hey, I've got a 3080 already, right? Let's say you've got a 3080 in your PC and you're like, hey, I want to upgrade this. Is a 4060 Ti really worth it? Probably not. You might actually be going backwards in performance, going down to a 60 class GPU, even though it's in the next generation. Your 3080 is still going to outperform this, even though it doesn't have, the third gen ray tracing cores in there. It's not enough of a performance bump to go jumping into this GPU. Now, if you were sitting in a 20 class GPU and you were looking at a 4060 Ti, that has value. Would I sit there and want to spend the kind of money that it's probably going to come out as? No, I'm actually quite afraid to see what they're going to sit there and say the pricing on that's going to be. To me, a 60 class GPU is a $200 to $350 card. Anything above that it doesn't have any value to me. It really doesn't. So that's just my opinion on that. I mean, I get it. I mean, like I'm still running an NVIDIA in my rig, so I mean, it's not like I have not. I'm not a have not been an NVIDIA fanboy, but it looks like for how they're doing their sales now, it's very off-putting as a customer. That they don't give me GPUs for free. I don't get to play with this stuff. I got to pay for it out of my pocket, and it really feels like I'm just kind of being abused by it. Now, especially with the market, the mining market being down, if the pricing of the GPU is too high for mining sense, it doesn't make any sense from a business stance. No matter how much coin it can how much coin it can bring in. I mean, unless we go through a crazy bull run again, going from right now, then I'd see some value proposition if you're looking for every little hash rate. And that's usually how it rolls with bull runs, is that you're scrambling for every hash rate you can get your hands on so that you can just continuously build up a war chest. Otherwise, you get muscled out. Oh, excuse me. But you want to do that all without taking on debt. That's always the fine point when you're trying to buy GPUs, right? So, with that being said, now, it's like considering that our 4090s are basically it's a $1,600 card. The 4080 is a $1,200 card. These used to be like a $1,200 card and a $700 to $900 card, and just from the top end on that, you feel like you're being abused trying to buy a card from NVIDIA. And it's like, you can keep your high-end cards all to yourself. I will go play with somebody who's not going to abuse my pocketbook because they value me as a customer. And that's some of the reasons why I'm going to be making that switch over to AMD moving forward. But, to each their own, guys. To each their own. One that's actually pretty cool. I mean, granted, this is AMD now. This one's... some of you guys might not know these people, but I've always kind of liked their cards. They're a little goofy. They're a little showy. And this one might be one that I might be wanting to try to maybe get my hands on, maybe. Just because it's actually kind of cool looking. So, Yeston. Usually this is a Chinese brand. You don't see Yeston really coming out of China. They are realistically made for their market. A little private brand out there, almost. I mean, they are known, but not very well known. And what I like about them is they've always done like theming of their GPUs. So of course this is the front of their GPU, and you got you get this little swirly thing here, kind of looks like an eye. You got some little girly flower things on there. But then the rest of it kind of looks like a digital gaming background, like a digital game background sign that has fans punched right through it, right? That's just me. That's just how I look at it. But what caught my eye is I like the back of this thing. And if you think about it, whenever you got it in your PC, this is the side that you're more likely going to see, right? So I happen to really like, if that's an image that they've actually painted onto the cooling fins, bro, that's baller. Now, this still kind of looks like some computerized art. This is not a final rendering, but if they do something here to make that into some kind of artwork like this, I'm down. I dig this. I dig the back of this card. Totally. I don't know about you guys, but you can sit there and put some comments down. You know, what's your guys' thoughts on the back of this card, guys? You know, is this thing like, you know, cool shit, or you know, you take a big old pass on this? I mean, this is the side of the card that 90% of people are going to be seeing. There are those people that do put their cards into a more of a display mode. And then there's those people who have small form factors where they never see their card, and it doesn't matter what the hell they put in there. Just let it have good airflow and perform nicely. It doesn't matter what they look like. You know, let me know in the comments, guys. What, you know, could you be interested in a card like this? I mean, I could theme out a whole computer, make a whole anime computer out of this. It's as long as they make that little artwork right on that grill, that cooling fins right there. That kind of sells it right there. I don't know about you guys. That sells it. But yeah, I mean, stuff like this. I mean, like if you got into display mode, you might not dig the front of this. Might be a little girly on the front side of this thing. But some of the stuff that I've had issues with Yeston, and specifically, is they typically cover a lot of the cooling fins. This one looks like they've opened it up. Maybe they've learned from their lesson a little bit with the performance issues. I'm hoping that's what the case is they've opened up the card a little bit and allowed for better airflow through the fins instead of suffocating these things. But if you guys don't remember, these guys kind of made a big splash with their kind of like their little Hello Kitty style graphics card. I could dig it for being like girly. Their little Hello Kitty. I'm like, you know what? I like companies that are having fun. And that's how I look at Yeston. It's just a company that's having a bunch of fun, trying to, you know, give people a little bit of options, right? And segueing into options, guys. Oh my god! So you guys know I like the Red Devils, right? I like the Red Devil. These things, Power Colors Red Devil. Especially on the RX 580. That's where it really sold me, was the RX 580 Red Devil edition. It had like a little goat head on there, a little pentagram on there. I was like, all red. That was a very sensual card. I mean, you could sit there and make a whole black and red themed computer build on there, make a Devil Edition computer build on there. I mean, it gave you options, right? And I'm heartbroken that they're not giving people an option for a tradition, the OG back. I wish they would bring back that OG back plate, but you know, some people get all butthurt over that, and they had to change it up because of a very small group of people that will whine and complain anytime they see, oh, that's satanic. It's like, it's a GPU. Oh, that's satanic. Don't buy it. Oh, nobody should buy it. Why? Because I said so. Don't censor my computer build. I like that. But I mean, I understand what the actual meaning of a pentagram is, and it looks like those, you know, butthurt people don't. Unfortunately, right? Oop, we had a private number there. I bet you that was the Wi-Fi going, oh shit, he's live streaming. I was gonna remind him about the putting the ham into the oven. So yeah, we're gonna have ham. It's gonna be delicious. But we have AMD with Power Color and Red Devil. They are making an option on a backplate. I know. It's actually kind of cool. I like this. They allow you to take off this back plate that's on there right now, which would expose it for just the LED back here, and then a perforated back, it looks like, and it'll go all the way across, which I like. I like the idea that you can snap off this, and it takes this out of this like little diamond coffin looking whatever thing on there, and then you can snap this on there, and it looks like it's caged. I can dig that. You know, I dig that. Give me some options on there. What I really want to see is how this actually snaps on, because although this might be injection molding, that means it can be measured and 3D printed. And that mofo will have an OG backplate on there. And I bet you I can have the openings for like the devil horn, the goat on the back, just above this little red lighting, and have that light up. That ideas. Woo! I have a purpose. If I ever grab one of these, to see if I could 3D print something cooler than this. But I do like the idea that you can unsnap that off, allows more heat to come through. I like the idea that they did allow for ventilation on the back of the board. Not like these cards give a whole lot of heat. AMD is pretty decent with the heat signature on there. If you gain anything off of the AMD by putting thermal pads onto the back, it's really nominal. NVIDIA is the one that really they capture the freaking heat. So they I see, 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, by putting, thermal pads under the back plate. I wonder if this open back design setup on here would be just as good. But I would love to be able to grab this card and actually 3D print something way cooler onto the back of this. I'm just saying. And kind of digging into some new crypto news, guys. So people are trying to have these technical analyses on why Solana is now on the brink of a major crash. It's like, if you guys haven't been sitting there and watching this, it has broken down from its $29 support line, been coming down. Now it was at $259.90 back in November of 2021, when all the scam marketing was going out about them and how that they were so good with their, proof of centralization, proof of staking consensus model on there, their proof of shit consensus mechanism, and it mostly deals with smart with what they consider smart contracts. I'll just call them computer code. It's just executing a computer code that they've written. Big deal, trying to sit there and trade out fucking NFTs. Big deal. It's a one-trick pony. Nobody gives a shit about them. As I had predicted, the NFT market would fucking wax and wane out of the way. Some of it's going to still have some potential value to it. There'll be always those, I'm still buying, still work. Slow down. You can still make money off of fucking selling shit. Somebody's going to buy it. There's always a buyer on the other end, right? But it doesn't mean that I'm willing to dip my toes into this. But what a lot of people, they're trying to sit there and they're trying to sit there and figure out what's actually going on, and they're gonna try to brush it off as this is how the current market is trajecting right now. But what they're not going to sit there and really talk about is that that the funds are basically commingled with FTX. FTX has got their hands in Solana. So as FTX tanks, it took out the fucking assets that were tied into Solana. So naturally, Solana's price has to come down in evaluation. Boom, right? That is insane with that. I hope I want this over here. Yeah. So, and so if anybody has their money in anywhere that's been touched by FTX, if it was even on the FTX exchange, fucking dump that shit. You're looking at a potential fucking grenade going off in your hand, and you're gonna fucking be looking at a bloodbath. Not financial advice. This is what I would do if I was in the shitcoin market per se. But we get into the whole breaking news here. Now that we're getting into a little bit of the FTF saga, guys, let's go ahead and roll right on into it. So FTX founder scam Bankman fraud arrested and set to be extradited to the United States, guys. Does that mean that you're getting your money back if you were on the FTX exchange? It's going to be one of those things of it sucks to be you. I hate to say it like that. You know, there is no hope of you getting your money back. These people sat there and operated out in the Bahamas. Why did they operate out in the Bahamas? Because it's outside of U.S. jurisdiction. Regulations does not regulate over on there, but they should have been regulating it on the United States side because they had a whole different division that was the United States side. And our regulators, because they were good friends with this scammer, basically allowed this scam to happen. There was many, many different things that they should have implemented and never did. They looked the other way. And this truly became a grenade in their hands. I hope Gary Gensler gets fired for this. This should be something that would get somebody fired because there are checks and balances for these exact things for the exchanges to operate here in the United States. And they failed to implement those on them. They had a U.S. hearing with the bankruptcy side of it for the FTX, and when they're filing a Chapter 11, it's not bankruptcy per se; it's a restructuring agreement. They are basically going to be restructuring the entire company. What'll be left of it afterwards, or how it's going to be moving forward, is hard to say. But the restructuring officer that is in charge of that is 100% cooperating with the United States government, as he should. This is because he's coming in here and trying to figure out where they went wrong and where all the funds are. He is on a fund tracking mission. That's what his whole job. His whole job is to figure out how bad was the fraud. And he's just barely been digging into this stuff. And that is in the stuff that they were going over in the congressional hearing this morning was pretty damn freaking wild. So with the whole with this whole officer that's going over the Chapter 11 restructuring stuff, while he was answering questions with them, basically they know that the United States was a smaller subsect of the market. They're not sure how many people really were because it's a lot of it is a bunch of account numbers. So they would have to manually go through all of the account numbers and figure out what country each person came from, to really understand the scope of how many individual people, how many was it financial firms, how many more companies involved with this. They're going to have to try to somehow separate who's in who, business, financial, and plebs. These are going to be your three categories that basically got taken here, and they're going to try to track down every single dollar and where everything went. Does this mean that the Democratic Party is going to have to give back the money that was donated to him by stolen funds? Probably not. My jaw would hit the ground if that was the case, because that money is poof gone already. So that one's an interesting one to see that with that amount of money that came into the Democratic Party and seeing the amount of money that's missing out of client funds that were obviously being cross-traded into Alameda. Alameda's bank account was FTX's, which was the customers. And they want to sit there and blame Binance for causing the bank run, for selling off their token. No, Binance was smart and went, oh, this is a pile of shit. Oh, yeah, bye. And as they dumped on the market, it made a big splash because it dried out the liquidity that they were trying to pump up. Basically, I think somebody over at Binance realized that the only reason why there was any kind of an evaluation on the FTT token, that they were being pressured to create more and 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 more of, because, you know, FTT token and the US dollar are one and the same thing. You know, you can just print it at freaking will, right? And that's basically what the Bahamas was trying to pressure Sam Bankman-Fried into, as we get into this next article here, which is basically the Bahama regulators investigate the FTT client withdrawals, because basically as they shut down the withdrawals here in the United States, they gave the Bahamas 24 hours. So he basically gave the Bahamas, he talked to the regulators, he talked to the government officials over there and must have struck a deal with them. And he allowed the withdrawals of people's funds in the Bahamas for 24 hours. And while everybody else's funds were locked, and a shit ton of money got moved during that 24 hours. And this is also part of the stuff that the U.S. hearing today was with the Chapter 11 restructuring lawyer for FTX, right? So we're now looking at, you know, the potential looking at the potential that there was some kind of fraud that was, you know, going on even in the Bahamas, some dirty dealings. Looks like the Bahamas made Sam Bankman-Fried drain some of the wallets, and they're trying to say hacked at the same time, when there was only a few people that held on to those crypto keys. So there was no hacking. It was trying to figure out which one of the people that had access to the crypto keys and was willing to move the funds really quickly. So there was no hacking involved with this. I will personally guarantee you this. This was somebody sitting there and decided to move funds right at the same time and was taking their cut before everything imploded. And it's going to be interesting because they're going to sit there and watch where all of that fucking money goes. It's on the fucking blockchain. It's like, if you're stupid enough to fucking bring it right to an exchange, you deserve everything that's going to happen to you. You are very much low-level tech, crypto people that are only in it for the money. You do not understand what you're playing with. And while the SEC is now charging the former FTX CEO for defrauding investors a day after his arrest. Took him this long to do that. Yeah, that's really funny because what is it? Bernie Madoff. It only took them 3 days. 3 days to indict that guy. It's been a hot minute. Like you open up his books and you're like, it's just like a little hand wraps out and like, whack, fraud, and it yells at you, fraud, whack it up, don't look, and shuts itself. And they should have just went like, yeah, let's go ahead and indict him right now. They should have known when it imploded on itself and how everything was interconnected. Outside of his own personal dealings, right? They should have realized as soon as some of this stuff started coming out right at the end. They got really bold with it right at the end with hot mics and everything. Hot mic takes of them going, of Almeida, CEO going, how you don't need to use high-level math. Stop losses are for people who don't understand what's going on. It was just like a lot of different things. It was just like red flag, red flag, red flag. And everybody looked the other way, including the SEC. And I know some of the congressional hearing people had mentioned that they were going to have a bunch of questions for Gary Gensler, too, because he should have actually cut right through this a long time ago. This just like any person that was in charge of looking into this, into the with how FTX is handling business in the United States, they've got to sit there and talk with the SEC. All the exchanges do. And to see that a step was bypassed on this guy's business is an issue in itself. And that's why that Gary Gensler should be getting fired for this. There is no reason that an incompetent person like himself should be allowed to continue doing business, considering that it now looks like if you're friends of his, that he will give your crooked business a pass. I'm sorry, but you've got to be able to apply the rules evenly across everybody, friends or not. I don't care if you are friends with these people. You should be putting them underneath the same microscope you would any other exchange, any other business that has to register with the SEC. There's already rules and regulations in place that would have caught this. Period. Because of the SEC, these little checks and balances were not being upheld, but because this guy was an incompetent fool that was friends with this guy. This is a problem. He was friends with not only this kid, but this guy's parents. This is an issue that if he's willing to turn a blind eye to a bad business just because it's a friend, this guy should be nailed to the cross right along with Sam Bankman-Fried. Period. What he did was just as criminal by allowing United States citizens to be defrauded because he failed to put up the rules and regulations that were already there. That just blows my mind. I'm just saying, that absolutely blows my fucking mind. That it's like, yes, we all know our little gangbanging governments are all crooked as shit. We all know that. But to sit there and see it to the point where they allowed thousands of people around the world to be defrauded because of the fact that they failed to put checks and balances up is a fucking problem. And this is why so many people like myself him and ha about our crooked ass fucking government, because it's like, as long as you're a friend of who's doing the regulations, you can get away with anything you want. And up until a big enough of a splash like FTX did, FTX exploding like this was beyond what the SEC could even try to even fathom to brush underneath the rug. And I hope that he's held accountable. Gary Gensler needs to be held accountable 100%. Fucking That hashtag should be fucking getting ripped out into the crypto community, Hashtag hold Gary Gensler accountable, Should be fucking tagged on that motherfucker everywhere. This guy is the reason that a lot of people on FTX got defrauded. A lot of people got defrauded because Gary Gensler. We need to be holding these freaking people accountable. They are fucking, at this point, you're in high enough in the government and you're unfucking touchable. And that is bullshit that we should be holding these people accountable. Gary Gensler needs to be nailed to the cross and held accountable over this. I'm just saying. He should be going to jail. The way I look at it is Gary Gensler is no more or less guilty than fucking Sam Bankman-Fried. They've committed the same, in my eyes, the same crime. You have one helping the other. The whole enterprise needs to be going to jail. Period. Because everybody fucking knew that what was going on. Anybody touching this business, and the restructuring bankruptcy lawyer was even saying this. He's like, there's no way they didn't know. He's like, it's in there, black and white. He knew the whole time that there was a backdoor on the system, that Alameda had direct relationships. The accounts were shared exclusively, and that they were defrauding whenever they were having customers wire transferring over to Alameda to buy Bitcoin on the exchange. That in itself was fraud also. So anybody that was doing the wire transferring, you guys got scammed. You never had Bitcoin. 100%. Especially Caroline nailed that Wayne guy to all of them. Each and every one of them that was touching it at the high level. They all need to go and charges need to be brought up against them. 100%. These people need to know that the price to do business like this, the penalty is higher than the reward. It just blows my mind if you sit there and you make the penalty and the reward's just slightly better than the fucking penalty. I'll take the risk. Why not? This is the problem. We need to be sitting there and not just like slapping them on the hand. We need to be like going, yeah, which hand we taking off? Old school stuff. We need to make it hurt. The price of doing crime, the price you pay if you get caught needs to be double, triple of what you could potentially earn. That will make people think twice. If I know I'm going to be catch and release on the system, I'm going to go out tomorrow and do the same crime again, because even if I get caught, I'm going to be out within 12 hours. That's why New York has a problem. That's why California has an issue. And come to January 1st, that's why Chicago and Illinois is going to have the same fucking problem, because they're going to be doing catch and release. You make the crime where your crime's down here, but your reward is off the charts. There's no rules and regulations that way. If you ain't holding these people accountable, they're just going to be repeat offenders. So I hope they sit there and they make an example out of Sam Bankman-Fried. The whole group of them need to be made an example out of. 100%. And it's like, there's no way that anybody's going to sit there and tell me otherwise at this point. I can give two shits that they had, multi-million dollar fucking mansions. Cool. You got a successful business and that's where you want to blow your money? That's on you. But you want to have a Lamborghini that depreciates in value every year compared to your Bitcoin? That's on you. If you need to have that status symbol that makes everybody go, ooh, that guy must be important. That's on you. I don't need that. But these people, when they get caught doing this shit, outside of, let them be weird people. Let that chick be one ugly. Wow. Even if she tried paying me, I'd be like, no. I've got standards. That is one goofy little elf-looking chick. And a tweaker on top of that. That is nasty. But let them have their little drug empire. I can care less about that. It's the fact that they were trying to play in an adult game of people's lives. There are people's lives that are now fucking wrecked because this little fucking scumbag. I'm just saying. These people need to know that, yeah, is spending 40 years for fraud really worth it? No possibility of parole? 40 fucking hard years. Come out an old fucking man. He'd be 60 years. He'd be like almost 70 years old by the time he came out. If they did that, is that fucking worth it? No, that would make people fucking think twice though. Why are we being so lenient on these fucking crimes? And that's why the crimes are speeding up and becoming worse because we're decreasing the payment to do those crimes. I'm just saying. So hopefully I see this guy getting like nailed at a cross on this one. He needs to be held accountable. Anybody that touched FTX at that top level needs to fucking go down with this. Anybody, and I'm talking even into the government side. They all need to go down for this. But we'll see how far that they'll go with this. You know that the government side, they're not going to put their hands up and vote for, charging people who had direct involvement on there. But for the least part, if they're government related, they need to be losing their job. They do not deserve that high level job. That's just me. That's my little soapbox for today on that one. On other news now, Brazil is looking like they are wanting to move to the central bank digital currency. No, I didn't see that coming. A corrupt government not wanting to control the currency 100%. The central bank digital currency would in essence allow the government to do whatever the hell they wanted to you. They could turn your economic value on and off with a press of a button. Oh, he's protesting. Off it goes. Brazil is not that is a totalitarian style government over there. Brazil is not a very good place. There's a lot of crime over there, and the people are not that, it's like years and years and years ago, before the United States meddled with the fucking Brazil. Brazil was a fucking awesome place to go, safe place, great tourist destination. And then the United States decided to go fuck with it. They did the same thing with Cuba. We see how Cuba still is, they're fucking communists still to this day, Because why? Because, US meddling with bullshit. I'm just saying. Just fucking saying. But we're gonna see different countries starting to look at the central bank digital currency because one, it'll be a private blockchain, so the code will not be able to be reviewed. You will not be able to see how many coins are in circulation. They will literally dictate $1 is worth $1 because they fucking said so. And what that also means, it's like I can give two shits of a one world currency, whatever. That part doesn't. What bothers me is the centralized control over the central bank digital currency here. So what that's, it's like that's going to be able to allow governments to print money at will. The problem that I see with this is because we're dealing with a private blockchain and it's got to be in a trust system, right? So now each government has got to trust that each other government hasn't obliterated the price of the currency by printing up extra. And so that makes it near impossible for complete bookkeeping. even if you sat there and decided to make every settlement transaction in one central database, I'm not even sure, even if you had a working quantum computer, if there's no way that a human being could take in that amount of data coming in and have something useful on the outside of it coming out that they could ever control. That would make the money supply go out. It would explode overnight, because literally each government would be incentivized at that point to basically sit there and print enough of these central bank digital currencies to pay their debt off. I mean, they make a CBDC and debt's gone. Watch. But the currency will be garbage. You'd be looking at a 4-bedroom house on enough grass that you can sneeze and hit your neighbor's house, right? And that's going to be $1 million because the currency is like fucking exploded with every country offshoring all of their debt onto the people directly. This is how bad money chases out all the good money, and all the good money will go into hiding. And whenever this explodes, then you'll see the good money come out of hiding to chase out the bad money. But if they go down the CBDC movement, it's going to be bad money. This is going to be basically them sitting there in currencies which aren't backed up by any money. A currency, which is what we're already using, guys. You typically last 50 years. We're over 50 years. We're at 51 years. If they sit there and try to re-engineer CBDC and they push that across the nation, across the world, it's basically going to take that debt bubble that's going to explode here and kick the can down the road, but it ain't going to go as far as they think. I think this can will come to an abrupt stop, and the next time they sit there and try to kick it, it's going to be like Thor's hammer magnetically glued to the fucking earth. There ain't nobody going to be able to fucking move it outside of a god. You would have to have like everybody would have to I don't even know how you would get out of that at that point. If they try to kick this debt can down the way a little bit further, when it pops, it's gonna be bad, guys. If they figure out how to kick this can down the road, I would sit there and start basically stacking, stockpile good money, stockpile your goods. And it's like, and I have never been a person that's been, oh yeah, we're a doomsday prepper. I'm like, no. I'm not a doomsday prepper. I'm a government's fucking shit up prepper. We already know they're fucking shit up. And I'd hate to be caught with my pants down. So better be safe than sorry in my book. So it'll be interesting on how the move with the CBDC will actually go forward. The central banks are going to need a testing ground somewhere, so they're going to test it out in a fucking shit country that it doesn't matter if the economy implodes. They will let this economy destroy itself. Now here's my little tin foil hat. If they go to the central bank digital currency in 2024, what we're going to see is for maybe 6 months, they're going to do good. And then it's going to collapse. And when it collapses, I think that's when the U.S. government and corporations come swoop in and they're going to buy out all the stuff on the in fucking Brazil. And they're basically going to extract all the Brazilian wealth out of the country like the United States has done to so many other countries. That's basically what we do is we bankrupt the country and then we give them a loan, and the only way that they can pay back that loan is by taking their own natural resources or swapping over resources so that they can export something that we need. And that's how they pay it back, even if it destroys their own land. There's a bunch of different little stories of governments United States government doing this to other countries where, we've we've turned areas that were doing a little bit of fishing, a little bit of shrimp fishing, but because the shrimp were real good there, they geared everything up for shrimp farming, and now they're actually eroding the fucking the landscape out there because of the overfishing. That's the problem that we have with other countries. Is we come in there, we decimate them, give them an unpayable loan, and then we make the loan payment with such a high interest rate because we're guaranteeing them that they're going to be forever our slaves. They're working for us at the destruction of their own land. There's like a small little movement of people that are trying to stop stuff like that, but that's a whole different discussion. But let's see here. And then, of course, XRP attorney reveals the possible effects of libraries loss in the SEC versus Ripple case. And I'm going to guarantee you right now, because of FTX exploding and the SEC now happen to fucking come down with a boom, this is going to look real bad for that XRP. So it looks like XRP is gonna get they're gonna get spanked, and they're gonna get spanked real hard. I've seen there are times where the SEC compiles stuff for up to 10 years before they finally get done with the case because there's so much information to go through. But when they go through it, Ripple's done. It's a security. It's centrally controlled by one person. So with that being said, Ripple's done. Yo, what up, dude? What up, homie? What up? Actually, now I'm like kind of hitting up towards the end. It is at that 1 hour, guys. We're at that 1 hour marker. I'm just gonna go over one other thing. So it looks like the SEC is going to be intercepting the Grayscale ETF review bid. The SEC is looking to block the appeal from Grayscale Investments after denying its proposed Bitcoin exchange traded fund. They will only allow the futures market with them, so they're only able to they're betting on the price of Bitcoin. It's paper Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin at all. It's paper Bitcoin. XRP is dead. Okay. Yep. XRP is gonna XRP is gonna get slapped by the SEC. It's fucking happening. They're just in denial before it happens, and then they're going to look shocked after it happens, and then we're going to watch the price of XRP drop, and then nobody will ever talk about it again, and the XRP army will be dead, and that's that. But the United States SEC has been taking further steps to stop Grayscale Investments' efforts to launch a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund. Grayscale began its legal challenge of the SEC's denial order proposal product in June of 2022. A 73-page brief filled with the U.S. Court's appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit on December 9th. This isn't a spot market. This is just a fund. The fund has to buy Bitcoin, so it'll be a 1-to-1 for the fund. So that's what's really nice about the fund. But it is not a spot market. So the fund, they will basically, when you get an electronically traded fund, they buy a specific amount of Bitcoin for acquisition. And then they go and allow people to invest into it, right? The problem that they're having with the security, the SEC's having an issue with, is okay, you bought it, you bought the correct amount of Bitcoin for the fund, cool. The fund is now active, you go to trade into it, and as you sell off half of it, now the price of Bitcoin drops. Are you going to still sell it at the same price that you bought it at, or are you going to be selling it to the investors at a loss? And that part is where the SEC, I'm guaranteeing you, is having its issues with. Is they're trying to stop it to where if somebody were to, as soon as they invest into it, they get smacked like that. At least with a futures market, everybody knows that the futures market is a gambling arena, so it's much more tolerated to see intraday highs and lows in a futures market. Because that allows you to have a little bit of arbitrage inside of the futures market itself. But with an actual fund, then they'd be able to actually buy Bitcoin officially on their books, instead of trying to, play the derivatives market and have a paper Bitcoin with the expression of what the Bitcoin price is. That's why the Grayscale Bitcoin futures has actually been trading lower than what the Bitcoin market truly is. But it's not like you can sit there and take any Bitcoin out of there, because they don't even own any Bitcoin. They can't touch it because it's there's some kind of regulation against them really being able to own it and being able to allow people to trade into that. So with that block, the company can back itself up with Bitcoin, but they cannot offer any exposure of that outside of the core investment of the business. So at that point, why would Grayscale want to buy any Bitcoin if they can't even hold it on their books and give any investor any kind of exposure outside of the stock market? And if they peg too much Bitcoin to the stock market price of Grayscale and Bitcoin drops, it's going to really drop the price of Grayscale stock prices, which that'll also have a negative effect and could also bankrupt Grayscale if they're over levered with everything on their books. Oh, thank you, Rude. I love this one too. Ultra Instinct. So does anybody got any comments or questions for me before I head up out of here, guys? Yo, that's pretty much everything I had to go over. Got my little rant out on Sam Bankman fraud. Got some cool stuff. Got some 3D prints going on. Got all that cool stuff going. So if you guys don't have any other comments or questions, there are 6 amazing people here watching. I just need you guys to smash that lizard like button. There should be 6 likes here. We got 6 awesome people. Should have 6 likes. Come on, guys. You guys are awesome. You know it. Thank you, John Germain. Definitely everybody. Everybody, drop some FAs in the Chizzity chat, guys. Drop those FAs, because you guys are rated F for fucking awesome. Yo! So, yeah. What up, droid guy? You guys all rock. Oh. Jason getting flagged with all those FAs, man. Those FAs are so epic. So thank you everybody for being here. You all rock. I'll be here, of course, tomorrow with some more cool stuff going on. Tomorrow is Wednesday. So we got some financial Wednesday going on. So we'll be going over some of the state of crypto and all of that good stuff. So, yeah, flag FTX. Let it burn. Let it burn. That is a dumpster fire. So, with that being said, thank you everybody for being here. If you're new here and you want to join the community, links down below. join the Discord. It's free to join, guys. Be a part of the community. You can ask some questions. We got a great group of people over there in the Discord that are, you drop a question. There is somebody there that'll be more than happy to help you guys out. More than happy, guys. And if you would like to support the channel, I got a Patreon, links down below. And if you'd like to have your rigs hosted at the facility, 8.5 cents per kilowatt hour, we can get into the pseudo hasher tier, and you get VIP access before anybody else. You will have a guaranteed slot. Like, don't have the Rabid Minder echo. No, I do not. Well, John, you gotta think, man. Me, Doge Lord, and Crypto Mikal, we're all friends. Crypto and Hot Rods is rated F for freaking awesome. Yo! You guys all rock. Thank you for being here. All that good stuff. Peace out. Stay savage. And may your watts be low and your hash be high. And I'll see you on the next one. Yo!